Morning everyone, and welcome back to Living the Dream. This episode, which is the second one in our adventures around the Mediterranean on the lovely P&O Azura, is going to feature first of all Chania in Crete, then Athens, and then, which I wasn't actually going to do, but I've tagged on the end, Santorini. It just made more sense on time-wise and content-wise of all the rest of the stuff I'm going to do to just tag that one on the end. I would have liked to have done a little bit more content in Santorini, but unfortunately, although it's a beautiful place, it was so busy. There was just so many people there. It was really hard to get the picture and the video without loads of people's heads in the way. So it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. It was, but it would have been even better if there'd have been less people there. But anyway, so we're doing Chania, which, as I said before, it was one of those stops where we didn't really expect much. We stopped off at Suda Bay, and then we got the shuttle bus into Chania. We was just going to walk around a few shops and that. We walked down the road to the harbour, and it absolutely blew us away. It was beautiful. So we spent quite a few hours there. We had lunch opposite the overlooking the sea. It was gorgeous. Then the next day was Athens, which, oh God, it was so hot, so busy, but really enjoyed it. We went on a P&O based trip there, and we had a right laugh. The two guides were amazing. They were so funny, Eleanor and Panos. They were great. We had a really, really good day. Exhausting, and we were so hot, but brilliant. And I said, then the next day it was Santorini, which we did a trip because we didn't particularly want to go on the cable car or the donkeys or walk. So it was a trip, an expensive trip, I might add, but it served a purpose. We got the tender over to the port and then coached round up to Oya and then into Fira, and then back down into the port and got the tender back, so we didn't have to worry about going up and down on cable cars and stuff like that. And it wasn't so much the cable cars, it was the 2-3 hour queues that was worrying us. It was okay, but because it was so busy, we was stuck in traffic most of the time. So we ended up having about 3/4 of an hour in Oya, and then stuck in traffic again, got to Fira and had about 3/4 of an hour there. By the time we got into the town, you had enough time to take a couple of photos, and that was it really. Didn't even really have time for a coffee. It would have been nice to have gone there and had some lunch or something, but it is what it is. Perhaps we'll go back there one day and have a holiday there just to sort of like see it for what it is. But I'm sure you'll get the idea with a few bits that I did manage to do. So anyway, without further ado, I give you Chania in Crete. This was such a lovely little town. It was really quaint. There's some lovely quaint little shops and cafes, restaurants. Dave treated himself to a cap as he was burning his head. The harbour area was absolutely stunning. It had a really good vibe about it. It was just lined with cafes, restaurants, bars. You could take boat trips, whatever. It was just beautiful. And here's Dave, modelling the latest in straw hats. A little number that he bought in a shop in the town square. Yes, it does suit you, Dave. Yes, we had to have the obligatory frappe stop, and very nice it was, sitting overlooking the sea.
Yeah, no, we'll put some money in, don't worry.
We stopped for lunch at an amazing little restaurant overlooking the harbour with fantastic views out to sea. The food was amazing. I had a yamista, which is stuffed peppers, and Dave had moussaka. It was absolutely beautiful, really fresh and hot. We moshed it down with a couple of beers and a carafe of wine. It was absolutely beautiful, a really good choice for us. Not forgetting the chocolate cake that they forced upon us. All in all, a fantastic day out. We'll definitely return to Chania. We absolutely loved it. So, next stop, Athens. I've never seen anywhere so busy in all my life. The traffic coming in, I suppose it took us about 3/4 of an hour to get in. It was horrendous. I've never seen anything like it. It made the M25 look like a country lane. But we got there in the end. But the trouble is, it's because it's inland as well. It was so hot. So the Panathenaic Stadium in Athens is the only stadium in the world that's built entirely by marble. Now we know why it was so hot with the sun bouncing off all that marble. Oh my God, it was unbearable. Next stop, Syntagma Square, where we was just in time to see the last bit of the changing of the guards outside Greek Parliament. Looks like well-needed refreshments are on their way for these guards. Looks like they need it. At least they are in the shade. The trip we was on didn't actually take us up to the Acropolis, which I'm glad about really. I don't think I could have coped with climbing that way up in that heat. It was one of those trips where it took you to the best vantage points to get the best photos. And yes, we did get some really good photos. It was almost as if we was there, but without the walk. Had a lovely walk through the countryside with stunning views all over the city of Athens and up to the Acropolis. much needed refreshment stop, and then back on our lovely air conditioned coach to get us back to the port. A really good day out. After another fantastic day out, we came back to the ship, sat on the balcony and watched the sail away. Once out at sea, we got ready and went to a restaurant and had a lovely meal, a couple of drinks, and then a pretty early night as we had another full day going to Santorini tomorrow. So see you then. Okay, next stop Santorini. Ships aren't allowed into Santorini itself. They have to dock in the caldera, and then you have to get a tender in, which I've never done before, so that was exciting in itself. Once we got off the tender and got onto our coach, we then transferred over to Oia. But to get there, we had to negotiate hairpin bends up a steep mountain. It was quite hairy at times, I must admit, but the views certainly made up for it. They were breathtaking. When you think of Santorini, you think blue and white buildings and stunning vistas, which is true when you go to Oia and Fira, but a lot of the landscape in between that is actually quite barren and flat. It's such a shame that we only had about 45 minutes here. We just about had enough time to go in a couple of shops. We did buy a couple of lovely plaques for our kitchen, but it would have been nice to have had some lunch or something here. We just didn't have time. After watching a stunning sail away from Santorini, we got changed and had a great night out again. Some fabulous food on board the Azura. Luckily, it was a sea day the next day, so it meant we could have a few drinks and a late night. I hope you enjoyed that. Our next episode is going to be purely on Malta, Valletta. That was the port that we actually flew into and where we started our cruise. It's because we was on a 14-day cruise, but because it was almost like 2 7-day cruises sort of back to back, you'd go back to Valletta, so some people could embark, some people would disembark. We spent the whole day in Valletta walking around. We went to the War Museum, we had lunch there. We walked so far, we had blisters on our blisters, but brilliant day. It was somewhere we'd definitely go back to. So we decided to have a whole episode just purely for Malta, which I hope you enjoy. So if you did enjoy this, please consider giving us a cheeky like and consider subscribing to our channel. It really does help us and we'd be really appreciative. So until next time, take care of yourself, enjoy the sunny weather that we're not having at the moment, that we did have, and hopefully we'll have again next week, and we'll see you soon. Take care, bye.